Welcome to In the Margins, where we spark connection through stories. I'm your host, Laura Lynn Donahue, and each week I invite guests to step outside the lines and into the margins with me. You'll hear the untold stories, the stories of risk and reward, of triumph and trial, and everything in between. Thanks for joining me. Let's dive in. Hi, and welcome to In the Margins. I'm Laura Lynn Donahue, your host, and I'm excited to be here at the MIC conference in Atlanta, the Military Influencers Conference. We are in the hotel lobby, so you will hear various bits of conversations and perhaps some other noise, so just go with it. And I am so excited to have JuLee Brand here with me, the founder of Brand Publishing. And we've got some fun things to talk about. JuLee, welcome.
Oh, thank you, Laura Lynn. I love that you are here with us and that we are doing this live on location because this is an amazing conference. It means a lot to us. We had a big presence here this year, so thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. So for those who don't really know what MIC is, Military Influencer Conference, give us just like a high-level overview.
So last year was our first year that we actually attended. So a lot of the influencers and the people that support the military community, whether they are veterans or whether they are allies, come here. It is a huge conference. There are usually over 2,000 attendees. Everyone is here to support the military, veterans, mil spouses, and allies trying to, whether it's health, mental health, suicide prevention, and we are here as a publisher to amplify those voices through our Mil Space books, which is our military division.
Okay, great. And for us civilians who may not know what a mil spouse is, what is a mil spouse?
A mil spouse is a military spouse, and they can be male or female, or binary, or whatever you want.
Right. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Well, you know, the terminology sometimes is just good to know what things mean. So you've got the military space, you've got Mil Space,
yes,
for your book division of W Brand Publishing. And so tell me, what does it feel like the most important purpose for you to be here as a publisher? What do you bring to this conference?
You know, last year I was here just to really observe what this was all about. I had heard about it, but I had no idea. And it is a full immersion of the community and how tight, just seeing how tight the military community is and how they support each other. And because of my background and why I started this company, it is very important for me to amplify those military voices as well. And so this was a really great place to be and to go in a big way, because it's so important to tell our stories, whether it is for legacy, whether it is for self-help, whether it is to get it off your chest,
right?
That kind of thing. And really, I want to just educate people in the fact that they just need to start writing. We have partnered with Alexa Bigwarf, who is a well-known publisher, and she has the most amazing Women's Publishing Summit.
Yeah.
And she just is really about education as well. So we partnered to help people get started in writing that first chapter so that we can put together an anthology. That's phase one. Phase two is we're looking at retreats that are mind, body, spirit, just because it is very important. People are going through so many traumas. And the reason we called it the Other Side Project is because writing gets us to the other side of whatever we're going through.
Right.
And so the nice thing, and having you here too in the margins is really important, because sometimes people aren't ready to write their story. And so, but they want their voices heard. So whether that's a podcast, they start out doing podcasts and then they go, hey, maybe I can write something. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's a blog, maybe it's a Substack, and then maybe it's a book. And that's why we're here, to just be here to support your story matters.
Absolutely.
It needs to be told. So we're just here to mostly educate. And if they want to publish with us, great. But I really want them to just have that, lose the imposter syndrome and get writing.
Yeah, the imposter syndrome is hard to get over. But what I like about the Other Side Project, the byline, if you will, or hashtag Better Together, I love that. And then with We Brand Publishing, you have words matter, your story matters. And when you put all of that together, you've brought a collective that brings something more meaningful to the process, brings support. You're not feeling alone. in the process. And I think that's something that's really maybe missing in the publishing industry.
Yeah, absolutely. And not to step on what you were saying, but
No.
that it's really true. And it really there are all kinds of business models for publishers out there.
Right.
And everyone has their own way of doing things. And for us, really is a heartfelt as Charlinda Scales, who is a veteran and she is a rock star and she's amazing. What she says is like-hearted, not like-minded. Because really at the core of this is humanity, because writing can be very isolating.
Yeah.
And you know what? Just living day to day,
Yeah.
after all that we've been through in the last few years with COVID, with all the things, it really is telling those stories.
Yeah.
People connect through story. I mean, that was the first way of communication, for people to understand things, was telling a story. And they're like, hey, that's me too.
Yeah.
I might not be a veteran. I might not be a milspouse, but I felt that way. And it's really important because a lot of the basis in our soapbox, mental health is everything.
Yeah.
And whether that's writing your story to get through something or to just, I writing fiction, having a great story to tell, to just entertain, it all matters.
Right.
We're all here just experiencing life, but the connection to humans is so important to me, and just making sure that everyone's out there and being mentally healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, the bottom line is, because suicide rates climb, and they keep climbing, especially in the military community, but everywhere, really. And so we have to do something, and telling our stories, feeling like we're not alone, taking those 8 minutes to reach out to somebody, because you never know. They may be smiling on the outside, but you don't know what's on the inside. The stories, that's why we do this.
Yeah. And would you tend to agree that the story has to be more than the surface, that you've got to dive deep into being vulnerable, because that's actually where the connection is?
Absolutely. That's a really good point. And I know that you went through this when you wrote your book.
Yeah.
You have to be ready to tell your story. And if it's going to be very superficial, if that's exactly how it's going to be perceived.
Right.
When you dig deep and you're transparent and you really bare your soul, that is where you're really going to connect to a reader. And again, that's one of the things that you have to think about too, is like, who am I writing to? Envision your reader.
Yeah.
And think, okay, if I was just having a conversation, like, what would that look like?
Right.
And start there, because that's really how you connect.
I agree. Well, this has been such a wonderful conference to get to experience. I mean, as a civilian myself, just seeing the camaraderie here, the sisterhood, the brotherhood, and hearing stories. It's been wonderful for me. Thank you for having In the Margins here.
Well, I was so excited that you could make it here, because that's what I saw last year, is that camaraderie, this community is so tight, and this is a wonderful place, and it's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things going on, and even this being our second year here, there's so much that I haven't even touched on that I don't even know about yet. And I'm so excited that every time I come back, or everyone that I talk to, that it's just another connection. And it's, when it comes down to it, we're all just human. And living this experience. And, to quote Ram Dass, my favorite quote, we're all just walking each other home.
Oh, yeah.
And that's really what this is about. So thank you for being here and experiencing this too, because believe me, you can't describe this. No one, unless you experience it, you have no idea what this is all about, because it's amazing to see this community.
It really is. We have so much more to talk about.
Yes.
And we will just save that for another episode.
Wonderful.
But thanks for being here. And thank you for listening and for joining us in the margins.
You've been listening to In the Margins. If this episode spoke to you, the best way you can support the podcast is by following, liking, and sharing it with someone who needs to hear it. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen. And if you'd like to connect, I'd love to hear from you at podcastinginthemargins@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and remember, some of the best stories are found in the margins.